Right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Universal Soldier podcasts. I've got another cracking episode today because I have another very special guest with me. And that man is an invincible man. He is Darren the Invincible Emmerson, all the way from Spain. My friend, my soul brother, Darren. We met in Spain. And no, we didn't meet in Spain, Portugal. I'm saying Portugal.
Yeah,
How are you doing today, mate? Looking fresh?
doing well. I'm doing well, Jay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on here. Always a pleasure to see you again, mate. Always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, amazing. We had such a cracking time in Portugal. Really hit it off, and feel like we're properly connected. We've had a few little Zoom calls and things like that with the guys. So it's great here to again be speaking with you on a podcast. Um, First of all, I think um, you've got an incredible story, mate. Like every time I've heard your story about what's happened to you, it's given me literally like goosebumps. So I feel like a lot of people listening can benefit hugely from just listening to your story and give them a lot of motivation and drive into their own lives. So um, could you tell us about that eventful time that you went through?
Yeah, sure. Sure. So like everybody else, I was just living a normal life, the bills, the working flat out, doing overtime, etc., etc. And then 2020, a lot of things happened, like COVID, the lockdown, and basically getting freedoms taken away from us, etc. And it kind of it created a lot of stress for me, a lot of stress. So I'm ex-military, but it reminded me, being locked down, it reminded me of getting your freedom taken away from you. So that kind of triggered PTSD in me that I didn't even know I had. So yeah, there was a lot going on in 2020, but also I lost my dog. He had to be put down, which kind of broke my heart, to be honest. And then 6 weeks later, I woke up one morning and I thought I had really bad indigestion. And it was coming in waves like 10 out of 10 pain. And I thought something isn't right here. It was bringing tears to my eyes. It was that painful. And something inside me, my intuition, my gut said, get yourself to hospital. Don't be a tough guy. So, and I know a lot of guys, they'd probably rather have something serious happen to them than go and ask for help. Now you and I, Jay, we know that that's toxic masculinity. We're pushing the opposite of that.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly right.
we're pushing masculinity that is also entwined with the
The
feminine.
feminine side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's very, very important for guys to be tough, but also to be soft. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at
exactly.
all. It's
That's being fully connected. That's being connected heart to your balls, as we say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
you living your full life as well, you
yeah,
know. Um, but like I say, so yeah, this morning, that morning that I woke up, got myself down to A&E. Now there's a history of heart issues in my family, but I never thought anything would ever touch me. I've always been super fit, kept myself busy, etc., etc. But so I walked into the hospital. It was the COVID time, so of course, like, where's your mask? So we just walked
itches.
straight through and having
Yeah,
any of that going into hospital. And they said it was about my chest, so the chest area. So they rushed me through. They did some tests, and I said there's a history of heart issues in my family. And they did a test for troponin levels, which can indicate whether someone's having a heart issue. And they said, no, you're fit as a fiddle, everything's fine, but we'll keep you in to monitor you. So I sat in the A&E bay, and I was in there for 2 hours. And then after 2 hours, basically my vision just went white, almost like a screensaver going across my vision. And I went, oh, fuck. And I knew what had happened. Basically, I died. My heart stopped completely. We found out afterwards that I've been walking around with a widowmaker heart attack. That kills instantly. You die from them. There's something like a 97% death rate if it happens at home. So that's why we've got a lot of defibrillators around streets and gyms and things like this. So there's a big difference. So when someone's having a heart attack, they're cognizant and you can talk to them. It just means there's a regular rhythm with their heart or something. But a cardiac arrest, which is what I had, you've got to be brought back. So yeah, I had the cardiac arrest while I was in there. My heart stopped. Next thing I remember is waking up in a recovery room 25 minutes later with everybody around me. My body was in absolute agony. Basically what had happened was I was having a widowmaker heart attack, and it had gone to my heart and just stopped my heart. My left anterior descending artery, which is your main artery, stopped all blood to it. And that's it, you're dead. Your heart stops, everything stops. So I was gone for 90 seconds. They came over. So I spoke to a doctor afterwards, and he says, right, we rushed over because you flatlined. So they put the crash team in place. And this guy said he did chest compressions. He goes, you weren't coming back. He goes, he did that for a while. He said, so we got the pads out, shocked you, and you came back first time. And not all that means is you get your pulse back, your vitals back, but I still remained unconscious for another 25 minutes. And when I came back around, I had blood clot dissolving drugs in me. I had all the needles and everything going in each hand. And I was just flat. I had nothing in me whatsoever. I mean, I spoke to AJ on his podcast. It was like being run over by a steamroller. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was dead, and I'd just come back.
Did you have no feeling at all?
No, the main feeling was pain throughout my body. I wasn't scared or anything. That was the thing about it. So credit to all the medical staff. They were absolutely fantastic. You know, and I spoke to this doctor who was one of the ones that did the test on me at the beginning, and he said, yeah, your heart's, everything's okay. And he said, we're fighting to keep you alive, mate. And he goes, this is really, really serious. You've had a widowmaker heart attack. He goes, they're deadly. He goes, someone's looking over you because you should have gone. You should have died this morning at the first wave in your house. So that's my mum looking over me. You know, I lost my mum when I was young, and she's always with me. So when he says that, you know, someone's looking over you, and that's quite interesting that medical staff are talking along those lines, you know, so there's quite a spiritual aspect there for people that are working in that profession. But anyhow, cut long story short, they did what they could, and I was supposed to fly to Oxford to John Radcliffe to get a stent put in because they don't do stents in Jersey, which is where I was living at the time. So they had to put me in a high dependency unit overnight. And yeah, they didn't know whether I was going to make it through, but I always believed I was going to make it through. You know, I believe, yeah, no matter what pain I was in, I wasn't ready to die. That's really, really clear. So yeah, then the next morning they flew me to Oxford with a crash team on a little private plane, and that was pretty hairy. That was quite surreal. You know, I was saying to the guys, what exactly are you for? And they said, if anything happens, we're going to try and keep you alive on this plane. I was like, right, okay. So the whole thing was very surreal. It was very, very surreal. Went to Oxford, and they checked me in. Great care. It was absolutely fantastic. But I spent a room on my own for 3 days. And there's a lot of stuff went on there in 3 days. Yeah, I did a lot of thinking. There was a lot of things, and my near-death experience that I'd experienced, it all came flooding back. All the things I'd seen, all the things I'd heard, all the things that had happened. Yeah, and I was always like, never a skeptic, because I always believe that people tell you the truth. But NDEs are very, very real, and there's a very common theme that runs through it as well. People see departed loved ones, they get a live review. And I know that you've got other people, skeptics that say, no, it's just electrical activity in the brain and things like that. That's fine if that's what you want to believe. I know what happened to me. I was dead. I was clinically dead.
Yeah.
There was no activity in my brain. So I know the things that I saw. And basically, Jay, I've come back a completely different person. Different person. Yeah. It's like I say, I did three days in Oxford on my own. People wanted to come and visit me, but I wasn't really up to having any visitors. It was something that I needed to go through on my own. You know, there was a lot of tears, there was a lot of working things out, and dealing with some quite strange thoughts that were in your head as well. Also, it's almost an existential crisis. When you see death, it puts everything in perspective. So yeah, so after that, went back to Jersey where I was living, and within a year, I'm in Spain. But when I came out of the hospital, I just had Spain in my head, something saying Spain, Spain, Spain. just something just really, really deep as well. So yeah, then I started watching all those programs, A New Life in the Sun, Where Are They Now, all stuff like that. And it was just, yeah, it just built up inside me that I need to be going there. So yeah, 3 years later, here I am. I've been living in Spain for 2 years, just me and my dog. And I have just an absolutely wonderful life. I've retired, sold my property that I had in Jersey. A long-term relationship ended. That's a very sad part about it. But also friends and people disappear from your life, which happens. And then new people come in your life as well. So fundamentally now what I am is I'm a very spiritual person that believes in magic. And I believe in getting out in nature, and that we've got it all in us. We've got all the answers within us. So yeah, life's very, very different now, Jay. Very different now.
Yeah. You're like this now, but were you like a spiritual person before this event happened?
I think I always was. However, not to the extent that I am now. I've never been one for there's a man in the cloud with a white beard and white hair and he's passing judgment. I've just never bought into that. I don't judge anybody that does, because I believe that religion brings a lot of comfort to people. But no, so obviously had it rammed down my throat when I was a kid, saying the Lord's Prayer at school and all stuff like that. So you tend to just go through the motions. I think it's like a lot of kids, when you get things forced on you, it's like, right, I'm going to rebel against that. So I kind of did. But no, my mum was psychic. And she used to see things and things like that, which can be quite strange as a kid. But my mum always explained things to me. And now I see all the things that she was seeing and hearing and experiencing are all very, very real. Because one of the things that I do now, and that I've told you about, is that I've really gone into psychic things. I've done courses with, about like, we've all got it. Basically what it is your sixth sense. So when we're at school, we're taught we've got 5 senses, but we all know we've got 6. The one where you feel, hang about, this doesn't add up, or something's just not quite right. Something inside you, and I believe everybody experiences it at some stage in their
Your
life.
intuition, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Connecting to your third eye.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's magic, and that's what it is. However, we're not taught it in schools, are we? We're taught there's 5 senses. Let's not talk about that stuff, that magic stuff.
It's almost like they're trying to shut you down, isn't it? Spiritually.
Well, it is that, isn't it?
Well, they are doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they do. So, and the other thing as well that's really, really clear to me is, from what I experienced, I have no fear of death. It happens to us all. But my understanding and my belief is it's this body that dies. It's Darren that dies. It will be Jay that eventually goes.
Yeah.
What we have in us is a light. We have a being, an essence, a soul, a spirit that never dies.
Yeah.
When I had my near-death experience and I had a couple of things happen to me, and a couple of visions and visuals and things like that, it's at one stage I wasn't even Darren as a body. I was just a light. I was just an orb floating around the room. It was very, very strange, but this is my belief now. So I've done a lot of reading into things like that. And fundamentally what it boils down to is, I think in Eastern philosophies, there's a lot of belief in reincarnation. Whereas in the UK, we tend not to believe that. We've got the Catholic Church, we've got the Church of England or whatever. There's nothing about reincarnation there, is it? It's be really good
scientific materialism now as well.
Be really good here.
Yeah.
Do all these things, and then God might let you into heaven. I just don't buy into that. I don't believe there's a heaven or a hell in the way it's been portrayed. I believe that those are things that are in you as a person. You can either be in heaven or you can be in hell with the way that you live in your life. That's my belief.
Yeah, very good. Cool.
So, yeah.
So what are some of like the spiritual sort of practices you do like now on a day-to-day basis to keep yourself spiritually strong? Because that's one of our layers of strength that we discussed in the last podcast with AJ, that we need to be strong in all of these different layers. Because we mentioned that you're not scared of dying, and that's one of the way this cabal group, governments around the world, they control people by the fear of death. So that literally they can't control you now, Daz, can they? Like you're like fearless of of that, you've experienced death.
Yeah. So once you've
So
experienced it, and this is my story that I try and tell people, and it's affected a lot of people positively. I've also had some like, you know, like I said, oh, it's just brain activity. That's good. That's your belief. That's really, really good. But it's my understanding and my experience is us as a person, as a being, it never dies. It's been around for countless generations, and we've
yeah,
been in different bodies. And this is now if we're brought up in the Eastern philosophies, you know, Buddhism and Hinduism and things like that, there's a belief in reincarnation. So the way I look at it, it's, well, all these millions of people can't be wrong. That's what they believe in. And I'm very much towards that type of thing now because I just have no doubt about it. But yeah, it's very interesting. I've always been quite, even when I was in the military and even as a kid, I've always abided by the rules. But once I got to a stage where you kind of like, no, this isn't for me anymore. I've had no one ever put control over me. Nobody controls
good.
anybody else. You only allow people to control you if you let them. So now the flip side of it is then you take absolute full responsibility for your life and everything that happens. You don't blame other people if something goes bad. You own it all. So that's where I'm at now. But the reality of my life now, what I've created is, yeah, within 2 minutes, I'm in the sea. I'm living on the south coast of Spain, looking at the Med. My daily practice is barefoot on the beach every day, getting myself in the water, doing a thing called grounding
Yeah,
that hopefully, you know, some of your listeners will know about. And fundamentally, all it is taking off your shoes, putting your bare feet on the earth,
yeah.
and just feeling good and just feeling the earth beneath your feet. Now, I know you know as well, Jay, that a lot of people are like, oh, that's hippie stuff. Maybe it is, but give it a try and then see how you feel, you know?
I think if everyone just like knows, like if you take a stroll down the beach bare feet, you know, particularly when you get in the water as well, that sort of magnifies it to another level, doesn't it? That vibration that runs between you. Just pay attention to your emotion
Yeah,
and your state of being, you know, half an hour later, having gone there. And I think everyone will say they're in a much better place, feeling at peace, feeling
yeah,
much calmer. You know, maybe go as far as say like you can clear up little aches and pains, joint inflammation. You know, it's so powerful. It's just free technology that is
yeah,
built into this earth,
yeah,
and you know, just use it. You know, stop. You don't have to pay for this any fancy um, equipment, sort of biohacking tools and devices. You know that sync yourselves up to some artificial device.
yeah,
All the devices has been made by God. It's already here,
yeah.
at our disposal. You know, so we weren't born with shoes, were we? So,
That's right. Yeah,
so just it's a day-to-day practice that we can all do. We've all got access to a bit of turf in the back garden or down at the local park or whatever. You're a little bit lucky, get Darren, with the sea right on your doorstep. We're
yeah.
jealous of you for that. But that's fantastic to have that on your doorstep day to day, mate.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, Jay, and there's not a day goes by when I'm not grateful to be here. You know, I know a lot of people say that they have gratitude in their life, but when you get it taken away from you and then you come back, um, that's very powerful. So what's happened to me is nothing different than happens to a lot of people that have some shock in their life. You know, a parent will die or something will happen, and it kind of makes you. I call it a fracture. So it fractures your existence, fractures your reality as you know it. And so I'll give you a prime example. So obviously, I then chose to take what happened to me as a lesson, as a blessing, because it is a blessing. It's horrible for people around me and what they went through, but those people that are still in my life, you know, like my daughters and new friends that have come through and friends that remained with me, they see it. It's helped a lot of people as well. It's helped them to understand actually it can be over just like that. That's how
yeah,
quick it can be over. So one of the other things that I do as well, Jay, is that my daily meditation. And when I say meditation, I mean Darren's version of meditation. It's very, very simple. It can be just sitting on the beach, sitting in a field somewhere. It's always in nature. It's always outside. It can be any time of day with the sun on you, or even in the pissing down rain, you can do it with an umbrella. You're outside in the elements. And fundamentally, all it is just sitting there and just taking in life, just taking in the environment that you may be in, listening to the birds, listening to the waves. Even if, if people find themselves in a very busy environment, stick a set of headphones on with some nice frequency music, just something just to relax you. And you will find that, I found that the first times that I tried to do it, it's like you've just got all the thoughts and you can't stop the thoughts. And we know what thoughts are. They come in and sometimes you'll follow one and next thing you're down a rabbit hole and you've got a scenario going on in your head. That's how it used to be. But what I've been able to do and what a lot of people are able to do is to just sit there and go, okay, don't engage the thoughts. And you'll find that there'll be gaps between the thoughts. And the idea, this is what I do, is try and just access the gaps where you've got no thought. And then once you've accessed it, it's a very peaceful place.
That's where you want to be, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You don't necessarily have to have something in your mind's eye.
No, you can, the thing is, it might sound, people might think it's a bit strange or just nothingness, but in that nothingness, there's just peace. Yeah. There's just peace. And basically, fundamentally, what you're doing is you're slowing yourself down, you're relaxing yourself and basically turning off the thoughts, turning off your mind. And it may take a few goes, but it will come. It will come. And then that's just a peaceful place. Even if you just get to it for 30 seconds, I think people will just get the benefit from just sitting there and just relaxing and doing nothing. It's very, very empowering. And like you say, you can do a walking one. You don't have to be sat down. You could do it barefoot in a field. Just, right, I'm just going to empty my mind here and I'm just going to really embrace everything that's going on around me. That's fundamentally what it is. You're taking in everything in now. Yeah. Not thinking about yesterday or not thinking about tomorrow or work or this or that. You're just enjoying now. That's in the moment.
Absolutely essential, I think, in today's society where it's so fast paced and we're constantly looking for notifications on the phone, dinging.
Yeah.
And there's pressure left, right, and center. Everyone's struggling to make ends meet with rocketing prices of everything. There's so much stress in our environment that I think meditation is, an essential component of, to maintain being a healthy human being now. If you're not meditating, there's no way you can be mentally stable and actually think straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Now I think it's absolutely impossible in today's society. So just really encourage you.
Sorry, Jay, we're on the same page with that. It's all by design. Yeah. It's all by design. It's once you see it, you can't unsee it. Not from the minute you're born, but from the minute you go to school, you're being programmed and trained to take exams. That's why you get people at school that are really good at taking exams. And then you get people that actually they've got a lot more common sense and streetwise about them. But you've not done good at school because you can't sit there and regurgitate. And so to me, the whole system's broken. That's my perspective, because it can then have a knock-on effect to people in their adult life. It's not that you're thick. It just means you're not designed to sit an exam. That's all it is. But that's what we do. And it's then, right, so what you need to do is then go to college or, go to university or get a job and work hard and get married and get a mortgage and have kids. It's all planned. It's all plus everything that's going on. So, I don't watch the media. I don't read the news. None of it exists. Now, that's not me being naive, but when you get a bit older, everything's cyclical. I've seen it all before. I remember being a 5-year-old child in the 70s and seeing adverts that what to do if there's a nuclear war, right? And now, 50 years later, we're talking about the same thing. And it's always been there, that threat of nuclear war. It's always coming from your TV box.
Yeah.
Or it's coming from newspapers.
No one's ever seen a nuclear bomb, have they?
Yeah. But there's always the threat of it. And You
Yeah.
know, and now it's got to the stage where what they're talking national conscription. Well, they spoke about that when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
It's all just recycled. And when you see that it's recycled, there's nothing new. It's the same as music. It's the same as fashion. You know, I might be sounding a bit old, but that's one of the benefits of being old. You become a bit wiser, and you just don't fall for it anymore. So like we say, it's all by design. But getting yourself into meditation or grounding outside, it can just help to turn it off. It can just help you to go, hang about, I just need to get out of all of this, because it must be, well, it's awful for people. It's really awful, and it creates a lot of stress, a lot of division. You know, it's the breakdown of the family unit. There's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of connotations for it. And then you see the flip side, for example, with COVID, that people are setting the rules and not even abiding by the rules. That's
Yeah.
part of the waking up process as well. When you go, come on, this isn't right. It's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if everyone just, was meditating, then I don't think we would have even experienced that whole
No.
charade in the first place, because we would have had the mental capability to actually think rationally and logically and see, look, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. What are
Doesn't,
we
does it?
doing?
It just doesn't make sense. You know, you
Yeah.
see things and come on, and this is what I said, you know, you and I and AJ and the girls when we were in Portugal spoke about this. It's the discernment, it's the personal discernment of if something doesn't sit right with you, the chances are it's not right for you.
Yeah.
Now, you can either ignore that and just carry on with the game, or at some stage you go, I'm going to take responsibility for everything. You can't control how other people are. You can't control the news. But you can control your response to it. You don't need to be sitting there and seeing we're on the precipice of World War III in all these different places and all the corruption that's going on. You don't have to watch it.
No.
It's the whole system to me. And it's very interesting that I see, like on social media, people talking about the upcoming elections and stuff like that. It's just a game. It's like one big movie to me, but a really bad movie. A really bad movie that's badly scripted. It's like an on-running EastEnders that's all just
Yes.
regurgitated, and it's just the same story. And it's like, but now there's a real fear aspect to it. It's like, oh, you need to be worried. You know, no, we don't. No, we don't. We don't at all.
No, it's constant pressure to try and put people into that state of fear and anxiety and manipulate people's minds, as we said before.
Yeah,
So if we stay spiritually strong, we stay connected to ourselves, we stay connected to nature, and we stay connected to each other on a heart-based level,
yeah.
and stop, this hate and driving that division that they're trying to do to us, then there's no controlling us. We the people have the power.
Yeah, we do. And it's really important what you said there as well. It's when you start living like that. There's Daisy. Daisy, stop.
Calm down, Daisy.
Stop now. Daisy. She's seen something out the window. So,
All right.
but when you start living like that, Jay, it's then you find that like-minded people come into your life. You know, people that see things the way that you see them. And there's a lot of us about. There's a lot of us on this
And
earth.
it's happening to me, and you. We met, at a sort of like-minded event that AJ orchestrated down in Portugal. So
Yeah.
that was an absolute phenomenal experience, wasn't it, mate? I mean, for me, life-changing already.
Yeah.
Already life-changing, because I was in a very dark place, as I've spoken a little bit about on my social media. Those guys are following me, having a bit of a mental crisis. But as part of my healing journey, it was about connecting to myself and trying to find like-minded people like yourself, Darren, and to connect to, because there's not perhaps so many people within my inner circle
Yeah.
around here, my close family and friends who aren't this spiritually orientated. So connecting with you guys and use of grandmother medicine as well, ripped a load of shit out from inside me, which I knew was there, and I've been working on months prior to just talk about, express and process in my own mind and work through. And then the Aya grandmother medicine really ripped that out of me, and then it's changed me as a person. For you, Darren, what did Portugal give you?
It gave me, it brought 4 new people into my life that have such love for all of you. So you, AJ, Faye, and Susie. So none of us had met each other before. I'd known AJ through LinkedIn for many years. So he's obviously ex-military like me, and he was doing some coaching. Obviously, when things changed and the world changed, AJ felt his calling. So he's gone down a completely different route. And like we say, he's arranged the meet up there. Now I knew it was only 3 hours away, so I was chatting with AJ, and I'm like, I'll drive over and I'll meet up with you guys. So it's only, a 3 hour drive from me here. It's a nice little day trip for me, so it was cool. Went there and met yourself and Susie and AJ, and then we all picked Faye up from the airport a little later. And yeah, it felt it was wonderful. It was, the thing is with me is that I have that ability now. I trust my discernment. I trust my gut. So what that also means is that people that aren't right for me, I feel it. It's some people don't have to open their mouth. It's, you just feel an energy that's not for you. But to feel the energy from 4 people that was exactly the same as mine, I know what that was. That was magic. That was meant to be. I posted it on my socials as well, that it's like my soul family. I genuinely believe it. And to be honest, so for the past 3 years, I've kind of done a lot of dark shadow work, trying to understand myself, why I would behave like I did in certain situations, really trying to understand my ego, remove the parts of my ego that are not required, and generally live from love and light. That's fundamentally it. Like, to want to do good, to want to help people, but to meet 4 other people that felt exactly the same. It was magic. And it was, we all went up on, AJ spoke about, I know you spoke about, we all went up on the roof and had a chill out on the evening, and the shooting stars and everything was happening.
Amazing, surreal experience, wasn't it?
It was just fantastic. And we knew that we had the ceremony the next day, but just that first night we were there, and when I went and got my head down, I'm like, I've known these guys all my life.
It was so weird how we're straight per previous day, didn't know you've met him.
Yeah.
I knew a little bit about AJ. I would follow him from the other events that I've done with him and stuff like that, but I've never met him properly in person before. To be there, lying with you other 4 on top of a rooftop in the middle of the night, just staring at the stars. So weird, but it was just an absolutely incredible experience, wasn't it? It just felt so comfortable. I was so comfortable.
Yeah.
And sharing just some quite intimate stuff about, each other.
Yeah.
Just felt so comfortable with that as well.
It was. And the good thing about it is that all 5 of us felt that. Yeah. That's when you know that this is just a little bit different. You can meet up with people that you have done in the past, whether it's at the gym or whether it's out in town or wherever you've gone. Chances are, if you might like one, or you might resonate with one person, but to resonate with four strangers as they were at that time, like you say, we have our Zoom calls. We're all supportive of each other. We're all there for each other. We all love each other, and none of us are bothered about saying that we love each other. There's nothing about it. There's nothing feminine. It's being genuine. It's talking. If you love someone, then tell them that you love them. It's because it's what it's all about. It's all about love. This is it. Acting in love. If there was as well, there was a lot more love in the world. And like you say, with the meditation, the world would be a pretty beautiful place.
Yeah.
But just because it's dark in places, you should always have your light within you, because that's why we do things like this, isn't it? We're trying to appeal to people. Even if one person goes, do you know what? That makes sense for me. I'm really not having a great day. I'm going to look into something like that, or even follow you and ask you more questions. It's what it's all about. But going back to Portugal, the ceremony, wow. I mean, the first bit, people have laughed about it. It's like sitting in your pants outside and getting hit with a tree branch with tea on it. It was like, wow, it was something else. But you just go with it, don't you? You're like, right, okay, I'm here. I'm going to immerse myself in this fully. And what's beautiful is that it's indigenous, it's South American, it's Amazonian, it's genuine. It wasn't a load of guys, I don't know, from Manchester or something that had set something up and trying to make a quick buck off people. It was, you felt it, how genuine that was. And it then became very respectful of the whole ceremony.
It was properly well done, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like the
really
whole thing there. Anna and Miguel were, they've been brought up with this medicine. They, could clearly see that they're a different type of person than what you see on the street around the average town in the UK, for sure. They're from a different planet completely. So grounded, so centered, so heart centered, so loving, and the music playing was pretty amazing the whole night, just relentless as well, just carried on and on.
Yeah, live music as well. It was, that's the thing about it. There was nothing, it wasn't a CD or a tape or anything like that, whether with a background ambience. It was real. And the thickness of the smells in there as well, like the burning of the sage or the other things that were getting burned, it was thick with it. It was it was very, very powerful. I mean, I told you guys, as soon as it happened, the first thought that I had is, oh, right, so I'm back in the Amazon doing another ceremony. I'd been there before. It just triggered something in me. I knew that I'd done that before. Now, I've never done it in this lifetime, but I know it felt very, very familiar. All the sounds, everything, the people in the room, it was just, it was a profound experience. And I know we all got lots of different things from it. I spent a lot of time on the toilet. You had your head in your bucket for a little while. So it was, but it was all good. It was all good,
No, it was amazing. Yeah, I mean, ripped out. I had my intention. Everyone had their own sort of personal intention going into it, and my intention. I couldn't have wished for it had gone any better. Like, I was holding on for dear life, trying not to let go, and I think that was the key message for me. Is just have no fear of letting go.
Yeah.
Just let it out, Jay. Express yourself. Don't care what anyone else thinks. Let it out. And then, when it did come out, which was just like wasn't much physically, but it was a real kind of energetic purge. It really, I felt it come up right from my root chakra, right up through me and out. And then afterwards, absolute euphoria. So it was like clear message, like, just let go, Jay, next time. And that was the most intense experience of my life, and we're thinking about maybe going back again in September for round 2. I know my intention already for the next time, so that's going to be pretty insane if we get all that orchestrated and put together. Can't wait for that.
That would be good. I mean, even like what was really good is that when we were all helping each other in the moment, patting each other on the back, it makes sure everyone's okay. We knew we were in safe hands. Nothing dark is happening. There's nothing, no one's going to die. There's nothing like that. It's powerful, but if you respect it and, you think really long and hard of why you've gone there, it's not something that you do very, very, very lightly, because it's what they call it, don't they? 30 years of therapy in one go. There's no hiding place. If you've got something in you that is bothering you or troubling you, or it's something from childhood, it's gonna come up. But like you say, if you put your body in that situation, then you need to release it and let it go. Otherwise, you're not doing yourself a justice. But once it releases and lets go, fundamentally the answer is it's all love. It's all love yourself. And we've all got programs and things from childhood and the way that we are in certain situations, the way we are as men in the 21st century. The idea is to keep those bits that serve you, because, I know we were talking earlier about like training and, weights and stuff like that. So I've always done training. I've always done sports since I was a kid, always been in the sports teams and kept myself busy. And then I did my weight training and actually then went to competitive bodybuilding. And I loved it. I loved the strictness around it, the regime. And it put me in a mind of being back in the military.
Yeah, it's
where
very
like,
military
okay, this is what
style,
we
isn't
do.
it?
Yeah, but the thing is with it as well, what's really good is now I'm not in that life anymore. I've moved on to something completely different. I go at the gym. It's purely functional. It's purely to get the blood flowing. I don't need to be the big guy anymore or anything like that. But that's just me. Um, I'm looking to remain healthy, through to my 80s and 90s or whatever, however long I'm here. But yeah, I think that's really important. That also builds up a resilience in yourself, that you know what you're capable of. You can back yourself. And I don't mean in a violent situation or anything like that. I just mean when life gets a little bit tough or a little bit shit. You can go, come on, I've got this. And it's an inner self-belief. I think it's lacking in a lot of people. I think a lot of people they've lost it because they may be concentrating too much on the fear and everything that might happen, instead of, you and I speak about, and you and I spoke a lot about it, about training. There's something in it from going to the gym, turning off, because there's no secondary thoughts of anything in the world. When you're there trying to hit that squat or
It should be. You just cut out there, Daz. Lost your sound.
all right, mate.
Oh, you're back. We're just having a bit of intermittent sound issues. Hopefully you come
Okay.
back. Yeah, you're back again.
Am I back now?
Yeah. Just lost you a little bit.
All right. Do you think it's this internet connection, this end?
It must be
Spanish,
your
isn't it?
side. It must be your side, mate. Yeah. It's
Gotta be,
not,
hasn't it? Gotta be.
not me.
But yeah,
But yeah,
going back.
bodybuilding. Do you think obviously it really teaches you that discipline that it should, if you're doing it properly, really harness your focus and get you more in tune with yourself on a physical level. Do you think that helped you, like in a spiritual sense as well, connecting to the physical, like being conscious of your posture, and how that helped you in the spiritual sense as well?
Yeah, I think it does. I think so. When I was younger, I've always heard, like, strong body, strong mind. Um, when I was younger, like people like Arnold and people like that and Sylvester Stallone, they were like the heroes. And as a young kid, I remember seeing Rocky 3. I watched the movie Rocky 3, and Mr. T's in there. He's the protagonist. And I remember seeing him training in his garage, and he was doing pull-ups, right? And you could see how big his back was. And I was like, yeah, I want to be like that one day.
Losing the sound again, mate.
What do you reckon it is, mate?
I don't know. I don't know. It's been perfect up until now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. We're back again now.
The gremlins, mate. It's the gremlins.
Yeah.
But we'll get through it. But yeah, so I always had aspirations to see what I could do with my body. But yeah, I think the discipline of it is very, very good. And I think it does go hand in hand. So I have my spiritual practices with my meditation, etc. But I'll still go to the gym. It's not 6 times a week, bang, 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 with a proper program. It's how I feel, to be honest. I've got certain body parts that I'll do on certain days, but if I only want to go in for 10 minutes and I'm not feeling it, I don't feel guilty. And if I want to go in there for 2 hours and I'm feeling it, then that's absolutely fine. But it's a big part. Yeah. Being fit. I think I always said to myself, I don't want to be one of them older guys or one of those guys that hits 30 and just lets it all go and just becomes a couch potato. I want to be, so I've got 2 daughters, 22 and 26. There's no talk of grandkids at the minute, but it's going to happen. I'd like to be that cool granddad playing rugby with the kids down the pitch, running around with them. That's what I'd like to do. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, that's cool. But no, you're a lot of guys at the gym nowadays. Some are pretty disciplined, some are pretty focused, but I see a lot of guys like in between sets, they're on the phone, they're very distracted. And there's been like an infiltration into the health and fitness industry with a lot of toxic supplements and steroid use and things like that. And I see a lot of guys that are walking into the gym with cans of C4 Monster drinks and Red Bulls and various other sort of pre-workout supplements, which, I confess I used to take a lot of that sort of stuff. And it just, creates a toxic body, toxic mind, and again distracts you from being your authentic self and doing what you're supposed to do. It's incredibly addictive, those sorts of chemicals and substances, and it really fucks with your mind, really.
Yeah.
So was there anything like that when you back in the day in the bodybuilding world?
Yeah, so obviously, like when people are, you're competing and stuff like that, there's all the dodgy stuff that goes on. But I know exactly what you mean. I used to nick pre-workout before I'd go to the gym, and it was like feel that and then almost to the point of you become reliant on that. So now my lifestyle now is there's nothing like that. It's there's no. So if I don't even buy protein powder now. I'll get some egg whites, bottled egg whites from the supermarket in Spain. They're like 250 for 30 egg whites. So I mix my egg whites, a little bit of milk, banana, some butter, and that does me as a pre-workout shake. That does me, and then I'll have something later on in the day. What have you? And there's an opportunity to eat really healthily here in Spain. That's really, really good. They talk about the Mediterranean diet. It's something that really does exist. But yeah, I see it as well. I think I don't know what it is. One thing that I won't say is it's a generation thing, because you're young enough to be my son. You're obviously a different generation, but when you're there, you're not on your phone. You're
No,
there. You've got a purpose. You've got a
yeah,
purpose.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you'll never hardly ever catch me with a phone at the gym. It's very, very focused. I know exactly what I'm there to do, the exercises that I'm there to do, the weight that I'm there to do, the targeted number of reps. There's always a set plan that I'm following. I'm trying to really stay in tune with my body. I'm not very friendly when I'm at the gym. Sorry, guys. If you're trying to have a conversation with me, I don't really want to get involved because I'm there to do my thing. The phone is away in my EMF protection case inside my gym bag, and it doesn't come out unless I'm videoing my set that I'm doing to just analyze my own technique on a particular exercise, or if I'm hitting a PR or something like that. I want to get some proof that I've hit that number. But really, it's just there to analyze technique. Otherwise, it's switched off. There's no flicking through social media in between sets and distracting myself from getting into my body and preparing myself for the next set or the next exercise, whatever that is. Really got to try, and it's a good opportunity to meditate with exercise. Is another form of meditation right there. You can meditate in the gym. I know it's a chaotic environment. There's a lot of shit going on. There's people, distracting you left, right, and center. There's, women with their tight yoga pants on, and there's, guys slamming weights around. A lot of nonsense. Can be a very distracting place. Can be a very dark place to be as well, energy wise. It can be very, very draining as well. So, coming back to what Dan was saying earlier about grounding and protecting your energy, it's very, very important before going into the gym that you are grounded and you're centered and you're protecting yourself, because it's all the dark energies coming out in the gym. People are letting it out. Their anger, the rage is coming out. Protect and hold on to that energy in the gym, guys, and turn the phone off. Please.
Yeah, and the thing is as well with the phone, one thing I've noticed, it's not a generational thing. It's like there's people of my age that sit there on the phone, and it's like so it's not, and I didn't grow up with mobile phones. I'm same as your parents. It was like the proper landline, the big heavy phones. That's what it was. So I get it that people of your generation have grown up knowing mobile phones, but it's like anything, isn't it? Would you go to the cinema to watch a movie and be there on your phone? To me, it's almost like it's a lifeline for a lot of people. It's like they can't go without, I couldn't do an hour or 90 minutes without my phone. Try it. And the other thing that's really important when I talk about doing the meditation and the grounding, there's no phone. There's no place for technology when you're doing that. You're actually not giving yourself the complete benefit. And if someone says, right, I'm going to go for a walk or whatever for an hour, but I can't leave my phone, I think that's maybe have a think about that. Why do you feel you can't do something without your phone? Why can't you? That's yourself telling you something. What is it? Scared of missing out? Is it FOMO? That's what they call it, don't they? What are you missing out on? There's nothing that isn't going to wait. Nothing.
Yeah, it's a scary thought, but we're attached to these smartphones like all day, every day, and you think it's just crazy. Who's watching that? Who's following you? It's like you've been tagged.
Yeah.
And then this is how it's designed anyway. This technology to lure you into, through the light of the screen, is to lock you into that screen, to put you into a deep state of unconscious and hypnosis. And then who's controlling the information on your screen? You want to stay in control of your own thoughts and be conscious of yourself. It's impossible to do that in front of a screen. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that's something that maybe people could try.
Yeah.
So next time you go to the gym and you're training, do what you do. Leave your phone in your bag. You do not need it in there. You don't need to be texting anyone. The time you're going in there, so give it 100% of your own attention. And you might find that you have a better session than you've ever had before when you've had a phone.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely. Absolutely. Good. Well, I think I don't know how long we've been going for, Darren, but that's been an excellent conversation.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
A lot of the guys and girls, hopefully some girls watch this show. If any girls are watching, comment in the section below and hit us up. We want to be for females as well as males on here. But guys and girls, stay connected to yourself is the message of today, I think, Darren. Is there anything, last question, to take home? What would you say to 8-year-old Darren?
Okay. I'll tell you exactly what I'd say to 8-year-old Darren, because I actually feel like 8-year-old Darren now. So I think when people get to about 8 years old, that's when you're falling into the programs. That's when you're no longer putting your arms out and flying around and you're actually an airplane, or putting the broom between your legs and you're riding a horse. It's when the magic kind of disappears. You become quite aware of yourself and how you are. And this is what I genuinely believe happens. So what I tell 8-year-old is stay exactly as you are, mate. Stay exactly as you are. Because that's where I've gone back to now. I've gone back to as I was, because there's no programming around me, because no one controls me in any way, shape or form. That's the life I've chosen. That's the life that I have now. So yeah, I pretty much behave like 8-year-old Darren anyway. So to be honest, like we're all behaving like kids when, we all, there's hugs and you tell people you love them and there's no thinking about, oh, what's that person going to think of me? That's kind of what happens when we're growing up. So maybe get back to that place where you just be your true self, just be who you really are, and who we are is that we're all love. I tell myself, don't be so bothered what other people think of you. That's probably the advice I give myself, to be honest.
Yeah, excellent. I think that's brilliant. And really need to just start connecting yourself on a day-to-day basis, guys, so that you stay connected to yourself, so you understand who you are and you don't lose yourself. If you're drifting away, you're connected to devices 24 hours a day, you will lose yourself. You will start to be programmed and manipulated into a person that you aren't really supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's the message of the day, guys. Really, just stay grounded, stay present, stay conscious, stay connected to yourself. Take time away from the technology, especially in the gym. Great opportunity to do so there. An hour and a half, turn it off, put it away, stay connected to your body. That's a form of meditation in itself. There's many ways to meditate. You don't have to just sit cross-legged with your arms folded and close your eyes. So that's been brilliant, Darren. Thank you so much for that. I know so many people will be beneficial for hearing your story and
I hope so.
Having seen face death, and it's just an illusion, really. We don't die.
We just sleep. That's what we do. It's just like being asleep. It's when we dream, we haven't left anywhere, but we've got all these images in our head, and I could have sworn I went to Sri Lanka or here and there or what have you, but you're still in your bed, you're still in your head. It's there's nothing to be worried about. And it comes to us all. But the other thing as well is get outside and get under the sun. I know the UK is what you got 90 days of rain apparently or something or whatever. Is that just more fear? Who knows, Jay? Who knows?
I think it is. I think it is more fearful.
Yeah. But get outside under that sun. That's the best that you can do. Get the sun on your face and just breathe in the air. Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Daz. I look forward to seeing you again soon in September. So hopefully we'll connect back then.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay. Thanks for inviting me on here. I really appreciate it, mate.
No, thanks for being a top man. Great guests. And we'll see you again, guys, soon on the Universal Soldier podcast. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe to the channel and share with your mates if you found this great. Comment below and we'll see you again soon.